Alright guys, so this might be one of the more fun ideas that I've done in a while because it's not really an adaptation of a comic book, which I've done in the past. This is more a adaptation of a anime arc. And as we all know, we love them tournament arcs. We love, and this is obviously a parody of the Tournament of Power. So, yeah. So this is very much inspired by the Tournament of Power from the Dragon Ball Super arc. You know, obviously the introduction of Ultra Instinct and, you know, Goku versus Jiren. All of that. Like, that was, like, this was just a fun idea I wanted to do, and I thought it would just be kind of a neat, just a neat little idea to play with. And, yeah, I did this a long time on, a while ago on my Vlair channel. You guys remember Vlair? Remember when I left YouTube for a bit because I just wasn't going anywhere, and then I went to Vlair, and then Vlair shit the bed, so I came back here. Yeah, those were good times. Those were good times. I did enjoy my time on Vlair, but here we are now. So here we go. So as always, I'm going to be using the Disney TV universe characters. So yeah, it just makes sense to be a. It's just easier for me. Although I might throw in some other characters here and there for this one. Anyway, so this version of the Tournament of Power is basically that a lot of godlike beings are getting together to see who has the most power, like the strongest universe. You have Discord, you have Bill, you have the Core has been reached out to, the Collector, Mirage, you have Phyllis. And like, all these characters are clamoring for, like, who has the strongest universe. The Magical High Commission is there. They're all, like, bickering back and forth to see who has the toughest universe. And that's when Phyllis comes in and is like, enough! If we do this an old way. We make universes fight each other. And everyone's like, cool. So that's what happens, is that, for 3 days, each person must find the strongest fighters in their universe and bring them to a specially created field where everyone will fight, and whoever comes out on top will be the top universe. And as for the rest, they might get blinked out of existence. Who knows? So, yeah. That's what happens, is that all the all the deities and all these godlike beings get together to look for their strongest fighters. Discord goes back to the world of Equestria and is like, guys, hi, what's up? How would you guys like to fight in a tournament? So the main 6 are sent to this universe. You have Vector Prime, who goes to the Autobots and is like, guys, I need my strongest fight. We need our strongest warriors for this matchup. And that's how a group of Autobots and Decepticons. Megatron is also summoned because he was a gladiator of Kaon. So he was pretty much like, yeah, we'll invite you. Like, because, yeah, what better fighting in a tournament, then you better ask a gladiator. And our universe might be destroyed, so you better get your ass here, Megs. Following that, you have Bill Cipher, who gets together all of his, literally the only people he has, and he goes up and goes, so, Pine Tree, listen, you guys are the strongest fighters we have here, so, get cracking. So, Dipper and the rest of the Mystery Shack gang, along with a few other people alongside them, get thrown in this. Star, Marco, and the others, they get roped into it. And, of course, the Calamity Trio, and Marcy and Sasha, and a few other fighters as well, like General Yunin, Andreas, and a few others are all dragged together, are roped into this tournament. So everyone is the match. The thing is simple. The rules are very simple. Everyone fights each other. Everyone stays on their own teams, and when a universe loses all of their fighters, no one's allowed to kill anyone, but if someone gets ringed out in this situation, if someone gets ringed out or beat or KO'd, and they run out. If that universe loses all their fighters, then that universe loses, and they get blinked out. So that's the idea, and of course Twilight is like, wait, guys, we don't have to fight. You know, we can all be friends. We don't have to do this. And Bill is immediately like, shut up. Let's have the action figures fight, and fight they do. More or less, like, it goes like the Tournament of Power, where you have all the characters just wailing on each other left and right. Like, it is just a straight-up match for the ages between everybody. You have, Twilight, who puts her power against Sasha, who uses her calamity powers. You have Marcy, who goes up against... you have Sashi go up against Wendy. You have a lot of people just beating the shit out of each other. But what's also interesting is that some of the godlike beings are noting that some of the normal human characters, some of the normal human fighters, are acting different. Like, there's a energy surging within them. And that's when, like, Phyllis brings up the point of why no matter what the universe, the human race has always been the most interesting about them, because there's this untapped potential inside of them. Like, there's always been like this, she goes, why do you think in every universe all of our problems go back to Earth? Because the humans have, this untapped potential that we've all kind of always were aware of, but we're never able to fully bring out. And that power is simply called Limit Break, which is this version of Ultra Instinct. And the first person to really, bring it out was Marco. Marco was the first person to reach his Limit Break, where he's fighting, believe it or not, he's fighting Dominator. He's going one-on-one with Lord Dominator in a fight, and that's when he suddenly just, there's this red aura around him, and it just suddenly, boom. This red, Kaioken-esque energy is, shading around him, and there's, electricity sparking from around him, and he's just, got this intense look on him, I'm gonna fuck you up. He's actually able to now move so fast, it looks like he's teleporting. His strength is tripled, and he can also fly. So this is the unlocked potential of humans. So he's so this is the power of Limit Break. When he just dodges one of Dominator's attacks and then just goes in for a punch and just knocks her through several buildings and into a and just a ring out. And he goes, so this is the power of Limit Break. And yeah, now Sasha and Marcy can't access it because the calamity powers. They see that power and they're like, well, shit, we kind of need to use our own calamity power. And yeah, the calamity power is still stronger than the Limit Break, but it's in that moment where Marcy is fighting Penn, who's access his Limit Break, where whoever accesses a Limit Break is able to essentially have a different aura. So for Marco it was red, Penn it's blue, and Anne and Penn are fighting, and what happens is Anne more or less does the age-old Dragon Ball Z thing of, this is the power to go beyond, and Anne basically ascends to essentially her own Super Saiyan 2. Where her hair gets longer, there's now lightning and sparking from her body, and she has a little more muscle to her, and immediately Sasha and Marcy are that's... I'm trying to keep the blood from leaking out of my nose right now. Can you look away, please? Because they're like, oh my god, I'm so turned on right now. So the two fight, leading to Penn losing, and then Marcy, Sasha's the next one to really access that power. And eventually, it comes down, the fighting continues until it's only... Because there's one person who's been, not in the matches. Some guy there's one person who hasn't been in any of the fights. That's Dipper. He's been reserved and in the background. He hasn't really fought anyone. Everyone's and people who've seen him are he's just a little guy. Don't worry about him. He's a nobody. And then it's revealed what happened. It turns out Bill made a deal with Dipper to keep their universe safe, that he would lend him a like half of his power. So, and Bill said, well, there's no rule that said I couldn't interfere with him. So, it turns out Dipper now has some of a good amount of Bill's abilities, and he's really fucking shit up. He takes out Amity, he takes out Andreas, and when I say takes out, he like rings them out or KOs them. He takes out Marcy, and yeah, eventually even like another person I thought, real quick before we get to the final battle between Anne and Dipper, one of the other things that happened is that Star, now that Smarko has a new ability, she basically like powers up and goes into like a monarch butterfly form. Like she more or less she hones her body from going from like her from that gold butterfly form to like a monarch butterfly form. So it's like a butterfly form too, and she uses that to fight Marcy with. Yeah, this story is completely ridiculous if you haven't caught on. This story is meant to be completely ridiculous. But what happens in the final battle between Dipper and Anne is that Anne harnesses all the power from everyone from all the other universes, because they're like, if Dipper wins, because he's just got, like, Bill is just like, yeah, if he wins, he's gonna go full nuts, and if he wins, you all lose, but if I lose, I'm gonna lose my universe anyway, so I just let him go nuts. So what Anne does is just use all of her power in one good hit, takes Dipper out and knocks Bill's influence out of him, and through that, she makes the decision, no universe is getting blanked out. So says God. And they're like, excuse me? And they're like, yeah, I'm God. Did anyone not tell you? And that's when God shows up. The being who gave her the calamity powers. God goes, yeah, no, she is the word of God. She is my word. She is my future heir. Deal with it. Also, I know a lot of people are like, what's up with all this continuity changes? It's my story. Shut up. It's my continuity. Shut up. That's the continuity we're going with. So there you go, guys. This balls to the wall, blatant parody of Tournament of Power. Just comment below. Let me know what you guys thought of it. Hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.